presence of teaching and learning centers on campuses and increased attention to pedagogy as part of graduate school is a hopeful sign that more students are finding support for developing their teaching skills. However, the basic model remains firmly in place, and many people teaching college classes today follow this process. Step 1. Spend at least a decade grappling with an erudite subject and proving how smart you are to other smart people who know a massive amount about said erudite subject and who, like you, believe the erudite subject is incredibly important and have devoted their professional lives to it. Step 2. If the stars align and you are fantastically lucky, obtain a job teaching college classes in the erudite subject. Step 3. Realize that many students believe the erudite subject is pointless and boring and seem to be unwilling or incapable of learning anything about the erudite subject. This book is for everyone teaching college classes who has reached Step 3 and wants to successfully move on to Step 4. Become an effective teacher. The premise of Geeky Pedagogy is that those of us who have reached this moment often have another important thing in common. People teaching college classes are usually intellectuals and frequently some combination of introvert, nerd, and/or geek. Although they bring some hefty baggage with them, geek, nerd, and introvert are not necessarily pejorative or inherently derogatory terms. Emulating other writers and commentators today who are proudly self-identifying as geeks and nerds, expanding the definition of geek culture, and challenging negative stereotypes about nerds, I use these words as a wry, occasionally self-deprecating, but also affirming and celebratory way of describing certain characteristics we in higher education often share and which have an impact on teaching. For ease of listening, I'll refer to geeks, introverts, and nerds as gins. And I presuppose that identifying college teachers as such is not in any way to criticize nerdiness, denigrate geekdom, or decry introversion. I am all of those things myself, and in fact, these are qualities that make many of us scholastically successful during our own education. However, many gins have neglected to figure out how these particular qualities may enhance but also may impinge upon our ability to teach effectively. If we want to be effective teachers, recognizing and embracing these characteristics and learning how to deploy them strategically in the classroom and during interactions with students is essential for those of us with advanced degrees in our own specialized scholarly subjects but little formal training in pedagogy. I argue that effective teaching is fundamentally an intellectual activity, an endeavor to which we brainiacs in higher education are particularly well suited, but as introverts who may be more practiced at studying than at peopling, we also have to understand and prepare for all the important ways that teaching and learning are social and emotional interactions that require clear verbal and nonverbal communication. In the following introduction, I will briefly unpack the terms geek, introvert, and nerd, and explain why I see them as a useful way to describe college instructors and to frame our work as teachers. I will also set forth my conceptual framework of 5 general categories: awareness, preparation, reflection, support, and practice for organizing the activities which effective teaching encompasses. Finally, I will summarize what Geeky Pedagogy adds to the scholarship of teaching and learning, SOTL. Geek, introvert, and nerd all have their own etymology, with introvert being perhaps the least debated. Coined by Carl Jung in the 1920s, introversion and extroversion are now accepted as measurable personality traits by social scientists and psychologists. Though often mistakenly equated with being shy, an introvert is not perforce someone who is awkward in social settings or has trouble connecting with other people. These things may frequently go together, at least according to #IntrovertLife tweets. But being introverted just means that you need time alone to recharge your mental,